USF students say a moment of prayer turned frightening when a group of men shouted slurs and mocked their religion.
Now campus police are working to identify the men who were involved, and we do want to warn you, some of the language in this story is disturbing. News Channel 8's George MacArthur is live at USF tonight. Georgia.
The Student Muslim Association believes this was a planned anti-Muslim attack. They say the group not only came all the way to the top of this parking garage to yell racial slurs at them, but they streamed it online.
Spit on Muhammad's name. He's a scumbag.
Video captured on cell phones shows three men interrupting a group of students who were mid-prayer shouting profanities. The men appear to have been appropriating Islamic traditional attire when they harassed the group of students.
Created this mockery of our culture, of our religion, of our traditions.
You can eat bacon so long. You can eat bacon whenever you want. God commands you to repent.
Treating it as if it were our kryptonite. It's in our religion, it's not permissible for us to eat pork. That's all. But for them, they taunted us with it. They mocked us with it.
Sajid Khan says they held cameras to their faces and made derogatory statements about their religion, their identity, and where they belong.
I hurt on so many different levels. There's the personal level where like when you feel like you're accepted in a place and then all of a sudden you're told you got a bomb strapped to your chest. You've got you should go back to a country that I've never been to. You know.
You guys don't have any bombs on you, do you?
The group responsible, who identifies themselves online as the Warriors of Christ, live streamed part of the encounter. In a statement to 8 on Your Side, they insist they did not touch, block, or physically interfere with the students, and they say they were exercising their First Amendment rights. They also claim the only physical contact came from students, not them.
Repent, you child of the devil.
Khan says several groups, including Christian student organizations, have reached out to support them and to condemn the acts.
Obviously, we know those actions are not representative of the faith itself.
And USF police say they are working to increase patrols around the area. USF also issuing a statement that say they do not tolerate harassment, discrimination, or hateful experience based on religion, and that they want everyone on campus to feel safe. Keith.
Georgie also mentioned that campus police are trying to identify these men that we saw in the video there. Will they be facing charges when they're found? And if so, what kind of charges?
Well, Keith, police say they are still working on their investigation, but once they do find those men, they will trespass those men so they won't be allowed on campus again, and will refer this case to the state attorney's office to see if there will be any charges. Keith.
Georgia MacArthur reporting live for us. Thank you.
They just never would think something like that would happen, and it sure hurt me. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
A fun family cruise that ended in tragedy for a Florida family is the talk of the nation. Good evening, I'm Keith Kate.
I'm Jennifer Lee. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we're learning more about the 18-year-old girl who died on a Carnival cruise ship earlier this month. News Channel 8's Stacy De Silva joins us now live from the Groves Church in Brevard County, where a celebration of life is underway for that young lady.
Jen and Keith, in an obituary, we're learning that Anna Kepner was a fun, bubbly, outgoing girl who dreamed of becoming a canine police officer. Tonight, we're learning through family court hearings that her stepbrother is under investigation for her death. In place of her car, flowers lay in the spot where 18-year-old Anna Kepner parked at Temple Christian School.
I think it affects the whole community. You know, it just affects the whole community because they just never would think something like that would happen.
Kepner, a high school senior, was found dead on a Carnival cruise ship earlier this month. The FBI is investigating. In an emergency custody hearing Thursday morning involving Kepner's stepmother.
Motion for temporary relief, docket number 25.
A lawyer stated Kepner's 16-year-old stepbrother is a suspect in her death.
Because the cruise was in international waters, that the young child, not the 9-year-old, but the 16-year-old was allowed to drink. The teenagers were given their own room.
A lawyer for Kepner's stepmother says cameras on board show the teens did not drink alcohol.
The FBI has cleared my client from any wrongdoing.
Meanwhile, a community grieves the loss of an 18-year-old girl who attended youth programs at the Grove Church and loved the beach, the sun, and doing puzzles with her Mima. The celebration of life for this young girl is happening behind me in this church. Meanwhile, we are awaiting more information about her cause of death from the autopsy report. We're told that could come out next week. And while lawyers for the family have stated in court that the stepbrother is a suspect in this case, the FBI has not released any details. Reporting live in Titusville, I'm Stacy DeSilva, 8 on your side.
They've been trafficked, they've been exploited, they've been abused.
A large number of abused and exploited children rescued during Operation Home for the Holidays. Good evening, I'm Keith Kate.
I'm Jennifer Lee. Thank you for joining us. The effort involved the U.S. Marshals Service, the FDLE, the FBI, and a number of local law enforcement agencies across the state. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson joins us live from FDLE headquarters in Tampa with the story. Jeff.
Good evening, Jen and Keith. Some of these children were taken out of horrific situations, but finding them and recovering them isn't easy.
In July, we showed you an operation run by the U.S. Marshals Service that rescued more than 60 children from abusive and exploitive situations. Building on that success and expanding the operation across the state, now more than 120 children have been rescued in the past few weeks, including more than 50 from the Tampa Bay area.
These kids ranging in age from 17 down to just 2 years old, many have been through the unthinkable.
Bill Berger, the U.S. Marshal from the Middle District of Florida, says it's not easy to find, identify, and recover the children.
Some of these kids don't want to be found, but we're able to find kids that, like I said, have been missing for years.
Some come from abusive families. Some run away from the foster care system, a situation Berger knows about firsthand.
Having been a former foster parent myself, the program is a good one, but it needs to get better. There needs to be more follow-up. There needs to be more counseling. There needs to be more love involved in this. It shouldn't be a business. It should be really take care of the kids.
After they are recovered, the children are given health care and mental health counseling and then placed into a stable situation. Some of that starts here at the Children's Home Network.
We try to understand why they are running. What kind of placement do they want for themselves? Where do they see themselves long-term?
They are given that care so they can then begin the process of recovery. Keith?
Jeff, I heard the U.S. Marshals say that some don't want to be found or rescued. Why would a child who's in an abusive situation not want to be found?
Well, some of these children, Keith, were told that they were brainwashed by their traffickers. The trafficker tells them that they are the only person that loves for this child. They are the only person that will care for this child, and obviously that is just not true. But the children have to be convinced that there is a better way to live, and that's what this program aims to do in the long term.
All right, Jeff Patterson, live for us in Tampa. Thank you. The Florida Board of Education unanimously approved a set of new principles to guide policies at K-12 schools.
Conservative think tank The Heritage Foundation drafted the principles into a document called the Phoenix Declaration. News Channel 8's political reporter Ty Russell is here in studio tonight to explain.
Stacey, Keith, Florida is the first in the nation to adopt these principles. The State Education Board Chair says this reaffirms academic freedom and parental partnership efforts. Now, state Democrats are waiting to see the language in Republican-led bills that may likely align with these standards. New state education standards include academic excellence. This involves schools using proven teaching methods over experimental ones. Citizenship calls for lessons on America's merits and failures. Cultural transmission calls for teachings on America's roots in broader Western and Judeo-Christian traditions. The Heritage Foundation drafted the principles following a national drop in 12th grade math and reading scores, along with 8th grade science.
The Phoenix Declaration offers a vital corrective to this problem, and it goes beyond just addressing test scores and student learning, but instead sets forth a vision of education centered on the 7 pillars.
Other pillars include topics familiar in Florida, like parental choice and responsibility, and transparency and accountability. There's also truth and goodness, which calls for lessons grounded in objective truth free from ideological fads.
I have grave concerns over this.
Florida Democratic lawmakers expect controversial education-related bills based on these standards.
It really is about trying to indoctrinate them with a conservative ideology, not really teaching them to think.
On Friday at Yale University, Governor DeSantis defended the state's efforts involving education.
Conservative principles and conservative policies work. Leftist policies and principles do not work.
And the Heritage Foundation is the same group behind the Presidential Transition Guide Project 2025.
So what other set of new standards did that State Board of Education approve when it comes to the topic of communism?
Yeah, this is a lot of people talking about this online. These new standards drafted by state educators will build on legislation from 2022 and 2024. State law requires brief lessons about communism on Victims of Communism Day, which is every November 7th. Now, these newly approved History of Communism standards will be included in social studies courses beginning next school year.
All right. Thank you, Ty.
Diedrich Sykes was best known as DJ Shy Guy. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Lee.
And I'm Keith Kate. Thank you for joining us tonight. Sykes' family and friends held a news conference tonight to express their frustration. News Channel 8's Georgia MacArthur was there for that news conference. She joins us live from police headquarters. Georgia.
As Jen and Keith, community members tell me they just want clarity. They are trying to understand why a guy like DJ Shy Guy, who was loved by so many people here in Tampa, was involved in a deadly road rage shooting in Ybor City.
Everybody loves him. His nickname is Shy Guy for a reason. Wow. So it's not adding up.
Friends of Diedrich Sykes say they're still trying to understand what led up to the deadly shooting in Ybor City.
What could he have said or done to make someone shoot him and take his life? It doesn't match the person that we know him to be.
Tampa police say this started as a roadway dispute. Officers say there was an argument between Sykes and another man right before the shooting. Police say the man who fired the shots claimed self-defense, stayed at the scene, and is cooperating.
The community have a right to know that there's someone out in this community that is driving, that perhaps don't have the temperament to be behind the wheel, that will take it to the level of taking someone's life.
Community advocate Elvis Piggott, who briefly made headlines last month in an unrelated incident where TPD says he drew a gun on a man claiming self-defense, says both cases should be treated similarly.
My name was plastered on every news channel in this city for weeks out.
Tampa police released a statement in part, quote, investigators are working diligently to gather all facts and committed to a thorough and impartial investigation. But community members say this is about consistency and transparency.
We're going to keep coming. We're going to keep coming until answers, until justice is served, until this family get what they deserve.
Investigators say video and witnesses are still being reviewed, and so far, no charges have been filed. Reporting live in Tampa, I'm Georgia MacArthur, 8 on your side.
Well, tonight, an alarming new study finds there were more foreclosure filings in Florida last month than any other state in the U.S.
And what's even more shocking, at the top of that report is Tampa. The city had the highest home foreclosure filing rate among other largely populated areas in the United States. News Channel 8's Marilyn Parker live in Tampa tonight. Now, Marilyn, you spoke with realtors about these findings, and what did they have to say?
Well, the realtor says the foreclosure filings may be up, but actual homes foreclosing, he showed us data for, are not. However, others say that the filings are as equally as important and should be taken seriously.
Property data and analytics firm Adam found Tampa posted the highest foreclosure rate last month. The U.S. Foreclosure Market Report says Tampa's rate was 1 in every 1,373 housing units. Adams says the rate would normalize in November following a temporary spike from Hillsborough County data collection. But outside the data, Sylvia Alvarez with the Housing and Education Alliance says they're seeing the spike.
We're getting calls from people who are getting their notices from their banks that they haven't made a payment, and they're scared. They don't know what to do. And the calls are definitely increasing.
Alvarez says to make matters worse, organizations like hers no longer have the funding they would normally use to help people. She says it's not just homes, but they're seeing rental evictions as well.
We did a lot of this in the last housing crisis, and I was hoping we wouldn't have to do this again, but I think it's coming.
Realtor Nick Davis says a few things could lead to a foreclosure, like homeowners not paying their mortgage on time. Davis buys foreclosed homes and showed us how he finds them.
So this is the MLS system you were telling me about.
This is the MLS system that all realtors use.
He filtered the system to show the last 6 months. It found that of the 4,013 active and pending homes in Tampa, 19 are foreclosed. But this doesn't show the foreclosure filings. Davis says for those facing a foreclosure, there are options to get around it.
They have the equity in their home that, you know, if they were to get behind, they could sell the house and still pay off the mortgage and any late fees or attorney fees without any problems.
According to Adam, Florida had the most lenders starting the foreclosure process in October 2025.
Both the realtor and the executive director of that alliance say, look, at the end of the day, these banks are not in the business of home ownership, and it is likely that they are not looking to own your home. We're live in Tampa tonight. Marilyn Parker, 8 on your side.